Hi everyone. Tonight we're reading Moose's Book Bus by Inga Moore. Moose lived with his family in a house in the woods. Every evening after supper, when they had all settled comfortably around the fire, in their living room, Moose would tell his family a story. Then, one evening, Moose couldn't think of a single story he hadn't told his family before. "Why don't you read us a story?" suggested Mrs. Moose. So Moose went to borrow a storybook from Bear next door. But Bear didn't have a storybook. Neither did any of the other animals who lived in the woods. Not Badger, not Fox, not Hare, not the Mole, not the 3 wild pigs. Not even the beavers had a storybook that Moose could borrow. So the next day, Moose went to the library in town. At the library, there were lots and lots of storybooks for Moose to borrow. "How about Little Red Riding Hood?" suggested the librarian. "Or Puss in Boots, or Cinderella. You can borrow them all if you like, Moose." "My," said Bear when she saw all the storybooks. And that evening, after supper, she brought her cubs along to hear Moose read Little Red Riding Hood. Next day, Bear told Badger how exciting Little Red Riding Hood had been. And that evening, she came back to hear Moose read Puss in Boots. Only this time, as well as her cubs, Bear brought Badger with her, and Badger's hubby and their cubs. And the evening after that, as well as her cubs and Badger's hubby and their cubs, Bear brought Fox along to listen to Cinderella. And Fox brought his missus and their cubs. Hare came too, and Mole. And the 3 wild pigs brought 3 litters of piglets. Come in," said Moose. "The more the merrier." But they were really rather squashed, and poor Mrs. Moose was run off her feet making cocoa for everyone. When the beavers piled in, it got so awfully crowded in the Moose's living room. It was like being in a can of sardines. No one could move. Moose hardly had room to read Cinderella. And this was a pickle. It really was. So, next morning, Moose called the librarian on the telephone. Then he went to the junkyard and found an old bus. And after he had fixed the bus up and fitted it out, Moose drove it to the library in town. The bus was loaded up with lots and lots of storybooks. Books for Bear to borrow, and for Badger, and for all the other animals who lived in the woods. But we can't read, said Bear. Hmm? Huh? Huh? So Moose taught Bear to read. Then Bear taught Badger, and Badger taught Fox, and Fox taught no, not Fox. Mrs. Moose taught Hare to read. Then Hare taught Mole. Mole and Hare taught the 3 wild pigs, and the wild pigs taught the beavers. Soon everyone was borrowing storybooks from the book bus. And taking them home to read for themselves. Or with their neighbors. Because reading together is such good fun. But no one could read a story like Moose could. And so his living room still got full. Only now it was just in a cozy way, with never a whiff of sardines. The end.